What's going on, everybody? It's time for today's edition. Happy Memorial Day, special Memorial Day edition of Blunt Force Logic. What's everybody? Thank you for joining us right here on Blunt Force Logic. Very special day. It is Memorial Day. A lot of people confused. They don't know what, you watch videos. People are like, what is Memorial Day? People don't know, which is absolutely insane. Memorial Day is celebrating those that have given the ultimate sacrifice, pay the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So what better to do on Memorial Day besides celebrate them, thank them, than to talk about the ability for us to utilize our First Amendment and speak on what is going on in this country, speak about what we believe needs to change in this country, and again, thank them for their service. I know a lot of you guys know we've worked with a couple Gold Star families. We have a Gold Star wife, Barb Allen. Please send her your love today. This is a very important holiday for her, as her husband lost his life in the line of duty to another soldier, in fact. But there's Gold Star families all over the country and even the world that have served us here and abroad, and a very, very, very special day for that. Now, I did make a couple posts today. I wasn't going to do a Memorial Day sale because that's really not the point of Memorial Day. We see it in furniture and cars, but I just thought it'd be humorous with our vice president sending out a tweet saying, enjoy the long weekend, without actually putting an apology, just layered something else about it, about Memorial Day a day later. She then said something completely just, thanking servicemen and women, not realizing how insane that is for the vice president of the United States to say, enjoy the long weekend, without any photo of a service member or any photo of armed forces or family that's lost a loved one, any of these things, for her not to see the idiocy in that, or her team or her whatever, shows the current state of leadership in this country. And people have had so many issues with Donald Trump for so long because of the little snippets that were put out there. So it's only fair that we utilize our voice to show when the current administration, that I will say is my president and my vice president, is doing a bad job. I'm not a child and say not my president like we've heard for 4 years. That is what I'm here to say, because why? In America, we can agree to disagree. It's one of the things on our Be The Change website. So if you go to hashtag BeTheChange.com/shop and utilize the coupon code, and we've never done this large of a coupon code. It's only for a couple of days. We're trying to get a bunch ordered so that our shipments are a little bit better. But it's hashtag BeTheChange.com/shop. In the comment box. There it is. If you go to that, it is 25% off, which is essentially getting very close to our cost. So I'm trying to get things moving. So anyways, want to talk about a couple things. People aren't noticing this because it's not in mainstream news, even though it should be, because it's a big friggin' deal. Supply chains shot, which is one of the issues we had with some of our clothing and why it took so long. But let's look at a bigger issue. I want you guys to drive by your local car dealerships this weekend and notice that we haven't seen Memorial Day sale. Memorial Day, come on Monday. We all weekend sales for automobiles. Why? Because we don't have enough in this country, because microchips are down. Microchips from China. Super weird that our supply chain on a product that is very important, and I'm very interested to see what happens from the stock side of the automotive line, because they haven't been able to sell vehicles because they don't have any. This is a huge issue. Supply chain in this country is how we survive and how we become a product-based company. And we have small parts. Granted, Fords, Chevys, Nissans, a lot of the trucks are predominantly made in the United States of America. However, you still get little bits and parts. And if they can't finish the vehicles, this is a huge deal. Guys, we got about 34 people watching, which is insane. Please share this post out there. This is Blunt Force Logic. It is a little bit political. Hit the like button. Do what you can. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and just really quick exit out of the comments. Not exit out of the video, exit out of the comments so you can hit the like button. Hopefully that'll trick the algorithm. I've been watching a bunch of other conservative programming and just seeing the insane amount of algorithmic squish that's been happening. So yeah, 35 people. I know that it's a busy Memorial Day, but again, that's still fun fact. So anyways, do me a favor, hit the share button. So what's going on with the supply chain is a much bigger issue than people can realize. So again, I think it's gone unnoticed, but I want you guys to next time, let's see what's happening. Thank you. No, literally drive by. In Texas, we have these huge areas that, it's starting to pour outside. We have these huge areas that are covered like tents where all the cars should be. And there's literally like 3 cars where there used to be 1,000. And it's not being covered. It's not being talked about on mainstream media because this is a failure to negotiate with other countries. We are being put at the whim, and it's all microprocessors. It's stuff that we would be getting from Asian countries, specifically China. We cannot finish our cars. So please notice that there's little things that are not being mentioned. Little things not being mentioned. Also, certain things we can't talk about because we're not allowed to say anything bad about the Fauci ouch. But I'm very excited to have Dr. Joel Hirsch. I always mispronounce his name. It is Dr. Joel Hirschhorn. He's going to be on Truth Will Set You Free tomorrow night. We're going to have to be very careful how we talk about things, but we have to be very clear that there has been blunders all the way. And there's, as mentioned earlier in my Motivational Monday post, there's people that are deeming the Fauci ouchie as patriotic to get done because it's taking a risk. When in all reality, there's so many things that are being pointed out that is just questionable. And you know what? I'm not saying not to take it. I am saying that you can't deem something patriotic because you're risking your thing based on unknown. That's not called patriotic. That's called stupidity, in my opinion. If you feel that there's a risk to it, you probably should not take it. That's the way that I would look at things. But if you don't see an issue with it, then that's fine, and you want to take it. That's the freedom that we have, and that's what I was getting to on this Memorial Day message. I stand and I take pride in the national anthem because of those servicemen and women that sacrifice their life for us to have the freedoms that we have in this country. One of those freedoms is if you want to kneel for the anthem, you are allowed to do that because of those that fight for us. That's why I stand. And I think that's a key differentiator. There's people that look at people that kneel and they think that they're terrible human beings. I don't feel that way. I feel as though I have a right to do mine, and I have a right to say, I disagree with that form of protest. I've said that about Colin Kaepernick. I'm not saying you're a terrible person. I'm not saying you shouldn't be hired by a company. I'm not saying, now, if you're a professional athlete, I do think it is your boss and employer's right to tell you what to do when you are on the field where you are getting paid to do it, because that's actually the way the real world works. But again, if somebody wants to kneel and they're a high school athlete or whatever, and they have a reason behind it, that is the freedoms that our soldiers fight for and sacrifice their lives for on a daily basis. And I know a lot of military people feel the same way, that if people want to kneel, that's why we fight. So do not judge those that stand. Do not judge those that kneel. Now, again, there is the disclaimer that if you have a job, that's part of where you're getting paid, your employer does have the right to tell you what to do. I know we're going back in time, and I talk a lot about Kaepernick back in the day. If your point is to bring people together in that sense, and all that your protest did was divide the country, take the people that were with you and made them more with you, and take the people that were against you, make them more against you, and take the people in the middle and essentially just split them on the sides, you've actually done the opposite. But you've got yourself a lot of publicity, and you got yourself more contracts and lawsuits and all that bullshit because you're a complete fraud of a quarterback. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. The code for merch is, it's Stacy, if you didn't get it, it's kind of funny. It is Long Weekend, in tribute to our vice president, calling this a long weekend. Judy, what's up? Memorial Day. Thank you for honoring countries with more by service. Several family members served and no longer with us. Yes, and My father was military, not on purpose. He got drafted, but never really saw any battle or anything like that. So I am not a service member's family. I just cannot support our military enough. I hope everybody saw that for 22 Kill, we raised a decent amount of money for the during the Operation Take Back America edition #1 a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. It is really raining out here, like raining. Let's see what else we got. Interrupted. Facebook there was an advertisement during the live. How does that even happen? Yet, of course, whatever. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Thank you on this Memorial Day for the ones that never made it home. What Memorial Day is all about. They paid the ultimate sacrifice. A lot of things not being mentioned. Absolutely. A lot of little things. And I showed something, and this is a very specific person. I'm not going to name the name. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to belittle this person that way, but I do want to share the way this conversation played out. This is somebody that I've worked with and continuously pokes on the little things that I say. And then when I respond with an educated response, because some of them have brought things to light. There was some, I can't remember what it's called, like PM 102 is in one of the, SM 102. It was in one of the Fauci ouchies from whatever company, don't know which one. I looked it up. I took one of these videos that I saw from a nurse who done her research, had gone to a certain website, screenshot it, screen grabbed. It was from a different company that was utilizing this same, I'm just going to call it SM 102. It's probably better that I get it wrong because then there's nobody that can fact check issues, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say this. I showed the video of what she found, of how that it was damaging, dangerous, not for human consumption. And then I was corrected by a couple people saying, and hers was belittling, like, oh, you don't know how chemistry works, clearly, because, certain things are inactive and active and all this. Cool. And then I looked at it and she goes, this is also a different company. And which, by the way, that doesn't change the chemical derivative. That doesn't change the makeup. But the delivery process included chloroform in this company, which is why it could be harmful for people. I was like, oh, shit, step back. Let me go ahead and do a little research. Maybe I'm wrong. And then I started looking at the side effects to chloroform in this. And I wrote I took an hour of research to properly reply to this person, which I was met with complete silence when I said, cool, chloroform has these side effects on the human body. The side effects listed here have nothing to do with it. So it's got to be the SM 102. SM 102 is, and I'm totally making up SM 102 because I don't think that's right. But if the side effects don't match up with the chloroform, clearly it's actually the compound. And the compound, just because it's used by two different companies and two different makes, that doesn't change the compound, which means it's still probably dangerous. Anyways, just throwing that out there. Now I'm sharing other information that is coming out, again, that's beyond questionable. And people like our friend Jay is wondering how I could think the government is so sinister. I don't think they're sinister. I think that when money is in play and power is in play, you have to realize that even government officials don't exactly know what's happening. They're being told by the people that make the most amount of money. Simple as that. Research is squashed all of the time. I literally presented articles regarding what had happened to the H word that we took, and how all of a sudden, miraculously after the election, it was no longer considered against the rules to prescribe that, according to the American Medical Association, which I was told was a lobbying group. Whatever. Anyways, they were told it's not bad to use anymore. They questioned how I said it and said that was not it. They're not saying it's recommended. They're just saying it's not banned anymore. I'm like, that's ironic timing right after the election. Cool. Great story. Good story, bro. Tell it again. And then I found another article by Fact Checks saying that was a lie that was said by Rush Limbaugh, even though I took the actual 60-page document from the AMA. I agree with you, Danny. I took the actual document from the AMA that had it listed out of when it retracted its statement, yet it was still given a false fact check. That shows you the world. How can you trust anything when that's what we're facing? And then he said, but look, on March 25th, they actually said that they retracted that statement. That's not the case. In fact, on March 25th, because that's what was said by CNN and by other mainstream medias that had very small byline on it, because if anybody researched, they realized I was wrong. On March 25th, they urged for us to be careful because of supply chain issues for it to be used for on-label purposes. Never said it was retracted. But of course, the headlines said something else. All that I'm trying to say is that the best interests of the people that make the most money are not going to be worried about you. Those are not their interests. I don't think there's a sinister plan. I just don't think they realize that it's just utter and complete bullshit. So I want to read this other chain. I think you guys are going to be entertained by this. Let me make sure I'm catching up on any of these comments. Let's see. Haven, California, be the change in the child. I don't think it's chosen. I support. Said words matter. I agree, and I choose. For 4 years, we heard it the other way, and I fought back against it. So I don't want to be hypocritical. He is by law my president. Joe Biden is by my president. As an American, he's my president, but that does not mean I can't point out the utter and complete failures of a man that literally just complimented a 6-year-old's legs and saying her legs are crossed and creepily talking about her looking like she was 19. I can critique that as my president. If I had a choice, I would not claim him as my president, but he is, based on the fact that I follow the Constitution of the United States of America. He's been inaugurated. At this point, until further notice, him and the woman that said it's a long weekend, they're currently in office, unfortunately for us, but that's just the way I see it. And honestly, you have the right and freedom to say however you want. Why? Because on Memorial Day, we have those freedoms because of those that sacrificed. Barely get this is back to the car thing. If anybody's just joining, we're talking about supply chain issues. They can barely get used cars right now, and people are waiting weeks, months for a new car. Used cars have increased 10 to 25%. They're getting a lot of used cars from auctions in Canada. Border closure, there is an issue. There is a huge supply chain issue that nobody on the mainstream media is talking about right now. There's not enough cars for people to buy, which in the end doesn't just affect us as a consumer country, but the fact that our stocks are based off of this. So if there's a huge hit to the automobile industry at the end of the quarter because they couldn't sell any damn cars, that will affect the stock market. Fun fact, just to give you that idea of how that works. Let's see. What the hell? More ads during? I wish I actually got paid by them. I love to see some rain. Yeah, we've been getting way too much rain out here. Yep, there's that in there too. Said when they finally announced something. Bumps. Yeah, you guys are going to enjoy me reading this. Let's see. Open up the water parks. Biden. There we go. It's a whole new shirt. And for those of you that so I've noticed that the Awake stuff that we sell is definitely the hottest stuff that we have in this new kind of line of stuff. So I do want to create a whole Awake line. I think that is the best way to describe the people in here, because there's a lot of previous Democrats. There's a lot of previous, and there's some that are still on the line, not knowing what's going on. And then there's even some haters that aren't awake yet, but I think we're going to get them at one point, because there's only so much you can force somebody to look at something before they actually realize what is actual truth. So this is the comment. If anybody saw my post that I put up, it said, let me see if I can get it. The year is 2021. Those that attend church, worship God, believe in the Constitution, believe that criminals should be punished, and the overwhelming majority of police are good and uphold the law, are now judged and persecuted by those that party all week, use illicit drugs, and believe that God doesn't exist. Dog whistles are bad, but overt racism is ignored by these same people. Race now means more than the content of one's character. Everything is backwards. Be awake, hold the line, and stay strong. So that's what I posted. I don't know how that could be taken in a bad way or hateful. Like, it could be disagreed with, like, whatever, that's not the way it is. But again, that's not unique to our story. So I want to go over this interchange. And I'm obviously not going to use this person's name, but I want to see the craziness of the conversations that we deal with. So and I'm just impressed that we had an actual exchange on this one. So you calling people on the opposite, this is from this person. So you calling people on the opposite side as you people who party all week, do illicit drugs, and believe that God doesn't exist is being the change? Question mark, exclamation point, wow, with a lot of W's. Mind blown. I don't know where that was read in there. So I'm going to read my statement back. The people that judge us the hardest are the ones that post about partying, God not being real, saying the flag and government is racist, etc. That's who comes at me and the people who are a part of Be the Change the most. You people in the audience. I love how you come drop judgment on my posts. And when I actually take the time to reply, you never actually have a conversation, because this has now happened month after month after month. Once a month, I get a little negative frustration and anger from this person. You can hate on my mission all you want, but don't pretend to know anything I've gone through or what I've faced or seen in the last several months. It's interesting that this post triggered you. This person said, there is a lot of people who probably disagree with you, who don't come at you all the time, because we don't have time to sit and have arguments all day. I certainly don't, which is why I generally don't respond. Technically, you do respond, just to be very clear. I said, you have the time to start the fight, just not have the conversation to find middle ground. Does that seem productive to you? Asking a lot of questions. It's a key to having these conversations. Ask questions. That's what the best thing I could learn about having a debate is what I've been researching, and how to actually have a conversation that could create change is to ask questions, figure out exactly what the other person is thinking, so that you can possibly be empathetic to their thoughts and find why they are either misconstruing or seeing a hole in your discussion point. This person says, I just find be the change very wrong when you're literally sitting over there judging people and calling them names or whatever. It's only adding to the divide and the problem. I asked again, how is that calling people names? I don't know what in this post is calling people names. It's intimate to my situation, and be the change isn't exclusive to one belief system. What's going on, Rose? I think there is something, this person says, I think there's something to be said of hearing that there are people who with opposing opinions, but I don't have time to argue, especially publicly, because your page and post are a sounding board of people who all have the same thoughts you do. So it's not a productive conversation. People with different opinions just get attacked. I go on other people's conversations all the time to have these hard talks. I think it's very important to have these hard conversations. Let's see. So I said, I think it's impossible for everyone to believe the same way. I've seen the ability to help the most people of all races, creeds, politics by having a stronger stance. Because as a lot of you guys know, I started a lot more in the middle with my conversations because I thought that would be the way to open up discussions. It didn't work. Being stronger is actually how we've been able to have more conversations. This person says, it definitely is now. I think you started more middle ground, but it's definitely gone way off with a lot of A's, sadly. And I said, my stance may not be the same as yours. And I said, LOL. That's where we went from productive to way off, sadly. Describing somebody else's opinions as way off, and that's sad. Her comment then, hey, Jenny, what's going on? Her comment said, right, I've always been about everyone having differences of opinion. I said, please explain how I've gone way off. Is it because you disagree? This person says, but calling people names or whatever is not productive or being the change in any way, shape, or form. And I repeatedly ask, I say, what names did I call in that post? And if you guys haven't seen the post, it's on the Be the Change Facebook page. I'll read it again at the end when this is all said and done. What names did I call? This person said, you said that people on the opposite side do illicit drugs, don't believe in God, and party every day. It's just wild and so much hypocrisy. I said, referring to a current state of affairs not involving specific people, but a large group of people, not all, but those that I see consistently spewing hate in the direction of people I work with and support are these groups of people. And I would ask that you reread the post. It is not a blanket statement. It's saying that those that believe in these things are being judged and persecuted by people that have the beliefs as mentioned. I didn't say, oh man, now this would be different if I said this. I didn't say, oh man, look at Democrats. They don't believe in God. They use drugs, etc. I never said that, nor do I believe that. That would be off the rails and name calling. I'm referring to those that come at us the hardest, which are some of the people that I describe in this post. This person said, I did. Again, I think about the opposite group of people on the opposite side of you is wrong regardless. Judging any group of people is wrong. I said, if that fits the actual experience, why would that afford anyone to take away from our very specific and personal examples? And I said, when am I judging in this post? There's not a single judgmental word towards the other group. It's telling the other group to not judge. This person says, I understand that others may be judging you or saying things about you, but retaliation is not being the change. I'm not retaliating in this post. This person said, right, exactly, you shouldn't be. When I said, when am I judging? This is almost done, I promise, guys. Yeah, exactly. So I said, what is wrong about this post? It's a philosophical look at the state of the affairs in this world. It is unique to my experience, and making a comment that allows for people that are like-minded and believe in civility like me, who are persecuted and judged for it, shouldn't feel alone. That's the purpose of this comment. It's a post. It's a statement, nothing more, nothing less. And it may not be meant for you, but please understand it is for someone. This person comes back. I'm just trying to tell you how you're coming off to people on the other side. I understand your struggle. And by the way, again, being nice is, it doesn't work on the other side. Then they just demonize me and just call me an idiot. So if I'm firm, at least a ground where we meet in the middle and we can have a real debate. At least this, by me being a little bit more firm, we at least had this discussion, which still didn't end up going too far. I'm just trying to tell you how you're coming off. I understand your struggle. Does she understand? I understand your struggle and that people have come at you, but I still find this post offensive and tone deaf. And again, this is why I don't have a full-on conversation about it, because it won't change your mind. Be on whatever side you want. But saying negative things about others is never okay. Be the better person. I said I have been, continue to be, and I still don't understand what in this post. I've asked now, this is the third or fourth time. What in this post saying negative things about others? I've asked several times now. You just keep saying it's judgmental. The response. And also, as you being someone who I know has used illicit drugs and also has done a fair share of partying, like what? Question mark, make it make sense. To be very clear, and I'm going to go back to what I've said later on about illicit drugs. I may have made a mistake in terms of saying illicit, because it turns out marijuana is an quote unquote illicit drug when it is not legal in that state. So that might have been a miscalculation. And to be very clear, I very rarely have smoked weed. I am once every 3 or 4 months, often in Colorado, which I bring up. But I said it's like in Hamilton, Alexander Burr stands for nothing, which means nothing happens. I'm standing for something, yet still not being judgmental. And by the way, I've never used any drugs besides weed, FYI. And I think people think because of the groups I've been out with, the fact that I've gone to really cool parties all over the country, that I apparently am using drugs. I've been around it. Never have I ever used any hard drug. Be very clear. Jerome, what's up? What am I sniffing? Exactly. Allergies. That's what I'm sniffing. Maybe that's why people think that I've used drugs. Maybe that's it. I have terrible allergies. She said, okay, LOL, which is my way of thinking that maybe she thinks I'm full of shit. Whatever. Yeah. Another ad. Why are there all these ads popping up during my lives? Is anybody else getting ads, or is it just Stacy? Maybe she's good at setting off. If anybody's getting any allergies, let me know. Let's see. I said, LOL, what? And I've absolutely partied on certain occasions. I've also, over the last several years, drastically calmed down, which is the truth. And since COVID, even more stopped. And I focused on actually having an impact. I'm not even saying partying is bad, and I really don't feel that way. You want to go out and have a bunch of drinks? I'm sure I still will on occasion also. Go have a great time. I don't give a shit. I'm saying that there is irony in these people that do this regularly. And again, I know that marijuana is still considered an illicit drug, but I meant anything harsher. And even on the rare occasion, typically I do it when I'm in Colorado or when I'm places like that. She said, oh my, okay, this is a waste of both of our time. I said, wait a second. I'm very confused. I am up for listening. I just haven't been presented with the point yet. This person says, do not get on your high horse and say negative things about others when you party and have smoked weed, which is still in some states an illicit drug. I already said that. Yeah, I get that. Okay. It's very hypocritical. And again, being the change is not saying negative things about people on the other side, especially when you have a platform. I'm not going to argue anymore. Don't have the time for it. Really sad to see that you can't empathize or validate others' feelings. That's not being the change that's causing the problem. This person does not understand what empathizing means. Empathizing is understanding where people are coming from when they do things. Like I'm coming from a place where I've been attacked, where people on this page have been attacked, where people are having issues and have been attacked. I've had 5 ads. How the hell do I turn this off? Switch to YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. That's weird. That's what empathy is realizing that it's not about you. This isn't about you, and this wasn't about anybody. It's not even about me. This was about the fact that the people that we see get attacked on a daily basis are those that were the ones that I described. And this is literally the last couple sentences. There's a reason why I want to protect you guys out there, myself. And this person chose to come and leave a nasty comment to which I've engaged in a conversation for better learning. but she's saying I'm causing the problem. I said, I literally have asked you to explain what part of my post angered you. If it's the illicit part, I'm sorry. I should have said that I have never done hardcore, or for the people that do hardcore drugs, Molly, cocaine, etc. I was specifically speaking of a few people that use hardcore drugs that have come with me with judgment. This is a real thing. I know people that have specific drug problems and then party all the time, still work in restaurants like till the day that they're blue in the face, have no drive and motivation, and talk about how terrible it is that I'm a conservative and that you guys are conservatives. It's insane. So I said I was specifically speaking of a few people that use hardcore drugs and come into judgment. And this person says, I've said multiple times you are saying negative things about people. Again, for the fourth time, please let me know what in this post is negative. I'm saying stop judging others that are doing everything we were taught as children is good behavior. I'm not saying the other side is a piece of shit. That would be bad. I'm not saying drug addicts are bad. And then the response, okay, you can skirt around it as much as you want. I'm done though. Bye. I'm saying it's ironic that people that don't believe in God, that use drugs and constantly talk about racism, while our group actually works with the community and deems it works with the community, and all races are deemed racist. I said, okay, to this person. I tried my best to find out what I said was wrong. I pointed out irony. That's what was done. This person says, I understand the meaning behind it, but the way it's been written is not that way. I said, you think I was being negative without being able to tell me what it was. Then tell me what part, tell me what words. This person finally said, I literally can't. I told you 4 times. You want to sit and argue. I don't have time. Saying people are drug addicts, don't believe in God, party all week is negative. That way it was said in a negative way. Saying negative things about others is not okay. I don't know how to open this person's mind anymore. I'm done now. There's literally no point to this conversation. My last statement, my mind is blown at this conversation. I read back through it all. You never pointed out one thing that was wrong, only how you took it. That's a reflection on you. Has nothing to do with me going off the rails or being an asshole. And I still feel like you think I've done a bunch of drugs, which actually anybody that knows me is completely false. This is somebody I know for years and was friends with. And it's mind-boggling what people think and say about others when they have zero understanding. So for those that just joined that want to know what the actual post is that caused that absolute insane interchange of blatant ignorance, is my post was, the year is 2021. Those that attend church, worship God, believe in the Constitution, believe that criminals should be punished, and that the overwhelming majority of police are good and uphold the law, are now judged and persecuted by those that party all week, use illicit drugs, and believe that God doesn't exist. Dog whistles are bad, but overt racism is ignored by these same people. Race means more than content of character. Everything is backwards. Be awake, hold the line, stay strong. That whole conversation happened from that post. This person was triggered by a statement in it and took it out on me and told me what Be the Change should be about, told me what it sounds like I was being mean to people, when all I'm saying is to stop judging people. That is how you took it. That's the world we live in. These are the conversations we deal with. Oh, man. Thank you, Stephanie. Absolutely insane. They wanted their feelings validated. And the crazy thing is, I did validate her feelings. I validated them to essentially say, please tell me what I could have done different, and even corrected the illicit drug use. Because again, I'm not a fan of legal marijuana, legal weed. I'm all for decriminalizing it. I think that's fine. And I do think there is a medicinal purpose in all these different things. But for the most part, there is a huge difference between weed and cocaine and all these other drugs. And there's people that come at me and argue about the stuff that we talk about with Be the Change, right? That are for pro-legalization of all drugs because, if people get caught with cocaine and they're arrested, it's racist. And I think that's absolutely absurd. That was so delusional. Yeah. Oh, Drew Hill is in the house. What's up, brother? Long time no see. Always with words to say. Let's see what kind of little things he pops in with. Drew, have you noticed the current state of affairs when it comes to supply chain and automobiles? Can't buy a car right now. I know the housing market for you is lighting up, though. It's got to be great. Let's see. I don't care if I offend people. Don't engage me. Must be hail the truth. I was a drug. Yeah, that's the other thing. And you know what? There's some drug addicts that have rehabilitated. And I think the idea is, again, I like to use the David Goggins mentality. When you have an issue that you want to fix, and yes, being a drug addict is something that I don't want to be the one to tell you, you want to fix it, then you have to realize that those that use it are bad. That's the beginning. That's how that starts. Like, that's how you start to heal, is by not denying that it's a problem. We all have a thing. Absolutely. At the end of that post, it's 100% correct. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's just, it's frustrating having these conversations, but those conversations are important for me to have. And I know that it drives Kelly mad when I have these conversations, because it engulfs my time. But I care to the point, because I want to understand what I'm doing, what is wrong with what is said from a logical perspective. I mean, we're in a world that you can't even post about things. I mean, look at where we are with the Wuhan lab. What I guess I'm allowed to say it now that the government goes, well, there might have been an issue. I've been yelled at, scorned, told I was an idiot, told I was a conspiracy theorist, as many of you had as well in March and April of last year. And now it's allowed to, because they go, oh, it might have been true. Even ABC News released a statement that it might have been political why it was kept quiet, because the conservatives and Trump were a rallying cry, were saying that it was created in a lab. So they avoided it because that side said it. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the state of affairs in the media and what you've been fed to believe, including everything up to issues with the E word, rhymes with erection. You know where I'm going. Again, I don't know the proof. There's so many different things that are, oh, you hear this, you hear that. I don't know what the truth is anymore. So if I want to believe something that's in question, I'm allowed to believe what's in question, because as we can see a year later, things are changing. Sick, not bad. I don't know what that means. Anyways, guys, I just want to have a nice long chat for this blunt force logic. And again, this is me utilizing the freedoms that we have in this country, that we have because of those servicemen and women on this very special day. Aaron Throckmorton, good friend of mine, sending love to you, my brother. He fought with a lot of men that are no longer with us anymore. We have the greatest country in the world, despite what we are going through in this country, and this division and this shift and this rift. We have the greatest country in this world because of the sacrifices made for the last 250 years of our servicemen and our servicewomen, so that we can, in this technological age, still somehow, even with a little bit of censorship, go on big tech platforms and have a conversation that hopefully can open eyes. And you know what? Even though it does tend to be a sounding board for people with similar beliefs, there is still people like Drew Hill that pop in, and other people that eventually start having these conversations. I've got friends that have come to me on the positive side, friends that have come to me that did not have the same political opinions in the past, that have started to realize that there is something to be said about an awakening and realizing that everything that we see, we should not always believe, and understand that maybe, just maybe, Trump wasn't that bad of a guy, or maybe, just maybe, Big Pharma does not have our best interests in mind, or maybe, just maybe, the best way to end division is to actually let people agree to disagree in this country. We have two political parties. We should have more, unfortunately, but we all have a different background that we come from. We all have different environment, different experiences. And when you add in the manipulation and the misinformation by the media, it's going to create a world of people that are disenfranchised from a level of understanding and knowledge. And that is the most important thing we can realize, is just because somebody feels differently than us, and I know we have a lot of conservatives that are in the chat and probably watching right now, just because somebody feels different, it may not be their fault. It's their responsibility as Americans to how's the best way to describe this? It's not their responsibility to know any better, but it is their fault if they remain willfully ignorant. Again, I don't mind anybody that chooses to avoid politics, because it's ugly to talk about. Just if you have the ability to go be happy about your daily life, great. But if you're going to be cruel to those that disagree with you on the left or the right, you better be willing to listen to the other side and understand where there might be a middle ground. Do you need some help, Kel? It's really raining. I feel like I may have to help her load some horses. With that said, the dogs are fine in here. How's Junebug? Anyways, guys, that is blunt force logic for the day. I think that's all I was going to talk about. I'm pretty sure I'm being summoned to the thing out there. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I spoke with Cash earlier, and he thanks our servicemen and women as well. I spoke to him on a message. Thank you guys for being the change. Thank you for supporting. And if you guys want any gear until Wednesday, we've got some good shows coming up. William Hollis on Wednesday for Changemakers, but up until Wednesday, we've got a sale if you use the coupon code from our lovely vice president. Long weekends coupon code, you get 25% off. We've never done that much, so make sure you go to #BeTheChange.com/shop. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to go help Kelly before I get shot. See you later. Where's the goodbye? There it is.